It's time once again for an update from the City of Maple Grove. I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us for the Maple Grove Report with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We have the meeting from the 18th to talk about. It was about an hour and 21-minute meeting. A lot of information passed along, so we'll keep you busy there. Plus a lot going on in the city. It is a sure sign that spring is here because we're talking about trees and yard waste and good things like that. So stick with us for that information. Let's start with the meeting that happened again on the 18th. A few items off consent we wanted to pass along, and one is a very nice item. A long-term employee is retiring.
Yeah, so Claudia Schmoyer has been with the city for nearly 30 years, and so she's retiring here at the end of March. She has been in most recently an HR coordinator for the city of Maple Grove, and so we wish Claudia all the best in her retirement, and then we're going to be recruiting behind her retirement to fill her position. So,
congratulations to Claudia.
Yes.
Something you'll be hearing a lot about was mentioned on the consent agenda, and that is the 2020 census. So we're already getting ready here, and this was an opportunity to say something that the city sounds like is already doing and looking for people to be involved. Yeah,
so we've had representatives from the upcoming census out to talk with our Citizens Advisory Committee, the CAC, and provide some education about the complete count committees that they're looking to establish around the nation, really. So this would be a volunteer-led effort. So the city would do some coordination on the front end, and then we're looking for volunteers. And really the objective is to just get the word out about the census, that it's going to be occurring here coming up in 2020. And you know, a lot of things come from the census, a lot of things about determining our, you know, the districts of how we are represented by our elected officials at the federal level. A lot of federal funding gets established through the census districts, those kinds of things. So important to get that full complete count, and this is a group that will be working on that.
And it sounds like there's a meeting coming up in April, possibly April 11th. So if you want more information, interested in the census, you can certainly look to the city's website, and we'll give you that later on in the program. That's it for the consent items. Let's move to some of the public hearings that were held. Well, first before that, there was a guest that was supposed to come that we figure probably couldn't come because of what was going on at the Capitol. Representative Robbins. Yes,
so Representative Robbins had been scheduled to come to the meeting and wasn't able to attend due to being on the floor down at the Capitol that evening until I think quite late. So we know that it's been a busy legislative couple of weeks here, and so she will reschedule to come out again, potentially now after the session here. But yeah, so just a busy time at the legislature.
We will tell you when she comes back to visit. Moving ahead in public hearings, street rehab program. So again, another time a sign of spring and summer coming here. 4 projects this year. Give us a quick overview of where streets might be getting a little work.
Yeah, so it's that time of the year again where we're planning to get out for the summer to do our street reconstruction projects. We have 4 projects this year, a little bit bigger set of projects this year. We're going to be up in the Gladstone area, which is a little bit in the northwest corner of the city. Rice Lake Farms, Winslow Chase, that's another project. 73rd Avenue, just east of Hemlock, that's just south of the 694 area. And some work also going to be done on Arbor Lakes Parkway, kind of up in the downtown area. And then Sycamore Lane from Bass Lake Road to East Fish Lake Road. So 4 different project areas. We'll be getting out to bid on those, and they will be constructed throughout the summer. We didn't have a large turnout for the hearing this year. We do encourage folks to reach out to our engineering staff and talk with them about any questions that they might have. A lot of the common things that come up are about how the city finances. There are assessments associated with this, and we do finance those for homeowners over a 20-year period. So a lot of questions around that, but also what happens with mailboxes and their driveway aprons, and what if they're having a graduation and those kinds of things. So if you weren't able to attend the hearing and you have some of those questions, our engineering staff is certainly available to help you through that.
Very good. More information to come, and again, the city's website, a great resource for that. Shoreland Ordinance Zoning. We've talked about this for some time. It came up first in 2018, and it sounds like there are 2 pieces to this puzzle. One moved ahead, one still being worked on. Give us that recap.
Yeah, so we had a work session earlier this month about this issue, trying to kind of resolve some of the language issues that we've been working on. One was the shoreland ordinance, and then the other one was the tree preservation ordinance that we're proposing some amendments to. So wanted to get the shoreland piece in place before the spring months hit here. So what this does is it basically requires that a plan be submitted if you're going to be doing tree removal in those shoreland areas. And if you do tree removal without a plan, there's some penalty associated with that. But so we are postponing the tree preservation components of these amendments, continuing to work with the Arbor Committee, and so those will be coming forward at a future date.
Okay.
Yep.
Next item was one we've talked about many times, have come to know and love, and that's the comp plan. So if you're a Maple Grove report watcher, you've heard us talk about it, or council meeting watcher, you've heard about it. Is this the end, or are we very, very close here?
We're very, very close. So this was kind of the final, or the last, next to final step, I should say. So where the council approved that plan for submission to the Met Council. So we've done that. It's gone in. It's been received by the Met Council. They have an opportunity to review that again and then provide us any comments back before its final acceptance. So we hope that we've completed and responded to all of their concerns and questions. And so this wraps up really probably about a 2.5-year process of work. Sure. Kind of a big deal. So really happy to have this one off our plate.
The important part to remember is it's not just a test that you complete and then it's done. It's a document, a living document that the city uses. So what are some of the base ways you use it? I know there are many, many categories in the comp plan. What are some of the key ways that you think it might come back out even this year? Yeah,
so it really guides future growth and the land use for the city, and then all of the infrastructure elements that go with that. So anytime a new development comes forward, we're always making sure it matches the comp plan, what the comp plan says it needs to be from a land use perspective. And if it doesn't, we have to go through an amendment process, and there's some public process to that. But it really guides how development occurs in the community and how we build out from an infrastructure perspective.
All right, if you'd love to read it, I'm sure it's somewhere within the city, so you can take a look at that document.
It is.
How about some development updates now? Let's talk about a few that came through the council on the 18th. The first is Village Arbor Lakes. There is some work done on a building that will come to be, but maybe have a drive-through. Tell us about that process.
Yeah, so this was a concept stage plan amendment that really just adjusted the square footage of a building and allowed for a little bit more drive-through space. This one will come back to us at a development stage plan approval in the future when they have a user for this building. They really just kind of combined this with the other 2 development projects that they were bringing through at this time and got this done. So we'll see more on this one in the future.
And this is the Doran Group that is involved in a lot of that construction. Let's move on to the next then, the Reserve at Arbor Lakes, and this is the 3rd apartment building of the 4. Tell us how this is moving along and what changes, some minor changes here. Yeah,
a little bit of a change to the unit count. It increased a little bit, but it still is within the 700 units overall that were approved for that site. Again, this is the 4th corner of Arbor Lakes, the northern half of that, which is the residential part. Their first building, they're about 80% leased on that, and they've only been open for 8 months. So they're very happy with how that lease up is occurring there. They're under construction on the 2nd building, and so this gives them the approvals to move forward with that 3rd building when they want to do that. So we'll see that project moving forward here, and I would bet within 24 months that project on the residential side will be complete.
Amazing how it moves along, and those people that are moving into that area will be happy about this next item. Wahlburgers is coming to the area. We've heard a little bit of talk about this. Tell us about the process at the council meeting and how that's moving along. And for people, listen up close, there's an interesting partner in this that you may know the name.
Yeah, so Hy-Vee holds the rights to Wahlburgers here in the state of Minnesota, and so they were the developer that brought forward the business or the Wahlburgers at the Mall of America, and so they brought that forward here. So you saw the same real estate representatives in front of the council that we've worked with on the Hy-Vee proposals. This will be right at the hard corner there of Hemlock and Elm Creek Boulevard, and so kind of at that northeast corner right behind kind of the corner treatments there. Very nice architecture, very kind of that wood element with the bright green that you might have seen
Sure.
at the Mall of America location. So we're really looking forward to this being added to that commercial area there on the south side.
And as they were talking, it sounded like one of the topics was parking, but it sounds like that whole area is being developed with a lot of shared parking. So
Yeah.
people from different businesses going to different places will be able to park in many, many places. Shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, no, and a lot of it is kind of offsetting uses. So, you know, you have the bank there and you have the select number store. And so a lot of times, you know, the bank during the daytime hours and then the restaurant more maybe a noontime and an evening certainly impact the parking. That can really help with doing some of that shared parking and then reducing the overall need for parking and making that a little bit more efficient. So that'll all work together, I think, pretty nicely.
So again, the time frame on the Wahlburgers for people that can't wait to have a burger?
Well, I think they were looking to get going pretty quickly
Sounded like
and
it.
be open kind of before the end of the year. So we'll see
All right.
how quickly they move along.
Watch the construction. Let's talk about some items
Yep.
coming up. A lot coming up in community development and at a couple of their next planning commission meetings, some new things coming up. Give us a preview.
So up on the 105th area, north of 105th, just south of County Road 81, Northwood Church has their proposal up there. Also includes some residential development in and around the church. That one was in front of Planning Commission a couple weeks ago. It's coming back to Planning Commission next week. There was some feedback about kind of how their site was designed and the roads were laid out, and so they wanted to take another swing through that. So that'll be coming back to Planning Commission. We have a townhome development out at the northeast corner of 101 Bass Lake Road by Pulte. That one's coming back. We've had to take a bit of a pause on that one and work through some access issues there on the corner. That involves the Hanson outdoor storage property there,
sure.
just to the east. So a lot of things to work through there, but I think that one's going to be coming back through for consideration. And then Park Nicollet up at Maple Grove Parkway there off of Upland Lane. They're looking to do some expansion to their same-day surgery center. So we're going to see some expansion of that facility coming through to the Planning Commission soon as well.
Very good. And a final note in community development to keep up with all of this work. Still some staffing work
Yes.
going on there. Tell
Yeah.
us about some of the staffing changes.
Yeah, so earlier in the agenda, there was an approval to appoint Jesse Carreau as our new associate planner. Jesse has been a code enforcement officer with the city for a number of years, and so has a planning background. So he's moved on to that associate planner position, and so we'll be also recruiting for his replacement. And with that, we'll be finally fully staffed in community and economic development and operating at full speed. So that'll be good because we have, you know, the development activity just continues to go pretty strong, and so it'll be nice to have that additional planning staff to help us through that.
Certainly will. Let's
Yep.
move ahead to Public Works and Engineering, and the big topic lately has been the snow melt.
Yes.
How have things gone? It sounded like from Ken's perspective, so far so good.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of real significant flooding in the public ways. We know that we have a lot of folks with wet basements and those kinds of
Right.
issues just because of the groundwater and the level of moisture in the soil and whatnot. But not too bad so far. We really tried to get out and take care of some of those storm drains. I actually surprised by the 14,000 storm drains in the city. I didn't
Yes.
realize it was exactly that number.
Right.
That's pretty impressive, and if you have to touch every one of those, that takes quite an effort. So we know that we're continuing to monitor that, and particularly in the areas where we have, you know, streams and creeks and wetlands and those kinds
Right.
of areas that are take some of that drainage. We're going to continue to monitor that, but so far not so bad. We do encourage folks, if they're seeing a storm drain pond rise, you know, more than maybe seems normal, if they see obstructions in the streets or things like that, just give a call to Public Works, or we do have an app on our website that it's YourGov. You can
Right.
submit a complaint there or an issue there, and it'll get addressed by a Public Works staff.
All right,
Yep.
we'll get right on top of it. Let's talk about the county coming up. There's some projects that the county and the city are going to be partnering on and around some popular intersections. Give
Yeah.
us a preview of that.
So we're working with Hennepin County to address kind of some future needs of county roads here in Maple Grove, and part of it is a relationship to the county turnback program. So there's a few roads we'll be handing back to the county, and then some roads that we'll be taking over. We have two areas that we are seeking the county to make some improvements to, and that of course is the completion of 610 and that extension out to County Road 30, and then the Maple Grove Parkway extension, which heads north from the existing Maple Grove Parkway up and connects up to Fernbrook. So pretty big projects, pretty big lifts, or asks of the county, and so we are continuing to work with them on that in kind of combining it with the jurisdictional transfer. So more to come on that, but that's been something Ken's been working on a lot with the county.
Very good. Final item from the meeting on the 18th was your report, and you have been spending some time yourself, and others have at the Capitol. Give us the Capitol update.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy. So on March 7th, we had a hearing in the House for the North Metro Range expansion, and then on this past Tuesday morning, same committee, capital investment, we had a hearing on our 610 completion bill, and both hearings went really well, and they're moving through a lot of bills really quickly, so you basically have 3 or 4 minutes to get your message out.
Right.
And but the good news is we're having the opportunity to be heard, and that means we're at the table. This year, of course, is not a traditional bonding year, but I think most years there ends up being some sort of bonding that occurs, so we have to be there at the table with our requests. So it's been a busy couple of days at the Capitol, and then yesterday North Metro Mayor's Day at the Capitol, so we attended on behalf of that. And then next week the I-94 Coalition will be visiting with our delegation up and down the corridor on behalf of the coalition, so that'll be another day there.
All right, we'll keep you up to date on those as we move ahead into late March and April. That's it from the meeting. Then on the 18th, again, a very packed meeting and more to come at future meetings, but let's take a few minutes to talk about some things happening here in the community. If you love art, you might want to stop by the Government Center. What is there? Yeah,
this is the District 279 Art Show. Runs through March 28th. And of course, the Government Center is open from 8 to 4:30. You will find it open a lot of evenings. We have evening meetings there, but the safest time is to come during the daytime. And it's in the main lobby there. A lot of great pieces of artwork there. It's a great display, and our lobby is such a great space for that to be on display. So we encourage people to stop by and check it out.
Do give it a look. You may have noticed something in your mail. It's that time of the year for valuation notices. Tell us again what these are and why residents should open them up and take a look at them.
Yep, so this is the 2019 Valuation and Classification Notice. It provides the 2019 estimated market value and classification for your property, that what we base your taxes payable in 2020 on. So we're really out ahead of the process. This is the time that if you have concerns about the value placed upon your property, you're going to want to come and either talk to our assessing staff or attend one of the meetings coming up. We have our Board of Appeal meetings are, the first one is April 16th, and then we have a reconvene on April 30th. So we try to make sure at the April 16th meeting, all the issues or all the appeals get put on the table there, and then at the April 30th meeting, the council deals with those, and then they get sent off to Hennepin County if they're still in that appeal phase. So important to take a look at that statement and see what's happening with your property value, and then get in and talk to assessing staff and then attend the meeting if you want to present your appeal to the City Council, who acts as the Board of Appeal that evening.
The background is the city staff does a lot of work on this. So again, if you have questions, they might be able to put your question in reference to your neighborhood or the rest of the city. So they have all that type of information. Is that right, where they can help someone look at beyond my own property, but a group of properties?
Yeah, because we really look at comparable properties, and we look at sales. Sale data is kind of the basis of understanding where property values are going. So they can share a lot of that information with you and talk about that. And I see a lot of times after a discussion, they'll recommend moving things here or there. And so I think it's worth a visit and worth a call. Our assessing staff is very responsive to the community, and so we really encourage people to take a look at it now. We sometimes see folks showing up at the time that we're doing the budget hearing in December, and they're concerned about their property value when they get their tax statement. And so we're really about a half a year ahead of ourselves at all times in terms of that property valuation and then setting the levy and the budget. So this is the time to come in and talk about your property valuation.
Very good point.
Yep.
Let's talk about open to business. We've talked about this many times, a little bit of a break over the holidays, but now they're back at it. So tell us what open to business is and when people can stop by if they might have a business idea or a growth idea for their current business. Yeah,
so open to business is available to Maple Grove residents or any Maple Grove business, and it offers you business counseling, one-on-one business counseling, and it's really kind of focused on that small business, entrepreneurial type business. They are at the Government Center Tuesday, April 9th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and they're always there the second Tuesday of the month. And we do ask that you give a call to make an appointment. That information's available on our website, but it is a great resource. We have helped a lot of folks with expansion or trying to make a decision about going into business for themselves. And so it's really a great resource to our business community and to our residents.
If you are involved in the Maple Grove community, now is the time to get your calendar out. A number of dates coming up on some big events, some annual events that happen. The first is the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast.
Yes.
Give us some background on that and the date we should be there.
So May 2nd, Thursday, May 2nd in the morning. This event starts at 7:15 in the morning. It's at Rush Creek. Our speaker this year is Chris Wright, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Minnesota United, the Loons, and so that's kind of an exciting event for the morning. And we do have all the members of the faith community are invited, and the community is invited to attend. And we have a lot of participation from the various churches in town, so that's really wonderful. Includes a buffet breakfast, music, and then of course a lot of networking and visiting with the folks from the community. So it's a great event.
And again, get your spot ahead of time.
Yes.
So people need to contact the city to get that spot.
And we do have that information available on the website. And this year we're doing registration and payment through the Eventbrite system.
Excellent.
That some folks might be available with. So that makes it a little bit easier. We've been doing kind of paper registration and checks. This year we're shifting to that Eventbrite, so make it a little bit easier for folks to get registered.
Very good. If you love trees and might want another in your yard, here's an opportunity. You have a tree sale going on.
Yeah.
Why does the city put this on? How is it a win for you and also for residents?
I think it really helps us with our goals around reforestation and managing the urban forest in Maple Grove, and to provide, we offer 5 different shade trees, 5 ornamental trees, and then an evergreen option as well. And then the tree prices range from $30 to $100. So, you know, it's a nice program and a little bit more cost effective if you're going to be looking at adding or replacing some trees. A nice option if you're having emerald ash borer issues in your yard and you're having to remove some ash trees. This is a great way to backfill that. So orders are accepted through April 15th, and then trees will be available for pickup on May 18th. And then the order form is in the spring newsletter on page 6. So if you want to get to be part of that program, make sure you take a look at that newsletter and get your order form submitted.
And if you can't find it at home, I'm sure you have copies available at the city as well, so people could stop into the government center. Another site that's going to be opening up soon is the yard waste site. People are excited. They're probably ready to run out on their yard and pick things up. And you have a place for them to put things.
We do. Yard waste site opens Monday, April 1st. Of course, this is located just north of 610 off the Maple Grove Parkway interchange there. It's open 7 days a week, closed on major holidays. Hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, and Sunday, 11 to 7. And you do need to bring an ID to prove that you're a Maple Grove resident. So information available at mgyardwaste.com for information about all the material that they accept.
So if the yard waste site is opening, that means something else must be closing. And what's closing is this skating loop, but a successful season. Just tell us about that great amenity in town. And you shouldn't forget about it because there's other things that happen there.
Right. We'll be switching to the summer season here pretty quick. And in fact, with the weekend that's coming up and the weather, I suspect the playground over there is going to be busy.
Yes,
and I haven't looked to see how much of the snow is gone, but I bet quite a bit of it. So yes, the skate loop closed. Once we start to get rain and 40 plus temperatures and the sun is real high, it gets real hard to maintain in the spring. And I think everybody's ready to move on to summer activities anyways. So skating loop closed, but we're getting ready for the summer with the fountain and the playground over there. So it'll
great
be a good
place
season.
in the city.
Yep.
Farmers market time. They're continuing to go indoors, but outdoors not too far away. Tell us about the last couple indoor opportunities.
Yep, we have 2 indoors coming up, April 4th and 18th. Hours are going to be 3 to 6. Those are Thursday afternoons, of course, and that's indoor at the community center there. And then we are going to be going outside earlier this year, so that's really fun. Thursday, May 16th, we're going to be starting outside. So probably about 2 or 3 weeks earlier. So let's pray for good weather this early spring. So that's it really extends the season for shoppers and then also for our vendors. It makes that a little bit more feasible for them to do their business out there. So once we open in May, we'll be open every Thursday through October 24th. So really extending that season for the farmers market.
Wonderful, great part of the city. All right, Saturdays in April, you're going to be busy in Maple Grove. Let's start with the 6th Longevity Health Expo. why should we attend?
Yeah, so this one's at the Community Center, Saturday, April 6th, 10 to 5. This is a variety of vendors that have different products and services related to nutrition, fitness, weight loss, and more. Over 80 exhibitors, and then a main stage will be filled with presentations, demos, different kinds of entertainment. So nice way to spend your Saturday.
Very good. And the next Saturday, the 13th, the last blast really of winter here, an ice skating show.
Yeah.
Tell us about those details.
Yeah, so this happens every year, and this year, 19th annual this year, and over 100 skaters will be performing. This is from the Maple Grove Skating School. Students, instructors will be sharing their skills and creativity Saturday, April 13th. 2 shows, one at 1 and one at 6 p.m. And then tickets can be purchased in advance or at the door at the community center. So it's a very nice event.
It is nice. We'll hop back into March for just a second, talk about fire prevention. Maple Grove always trying to educate the residents.
Yeah.
Here's another opportunity to learn more. Tell us about these details.
Yeah, so we have another fire safety class coming up on Thursday, March 28th. They talk about smoke alarms, residential fire escape plans, and then just general discussion of fire safety in your home. The class is held from 6 to 7 p.m. at Fire Station 4, and we do ask that you sign up in advance, so if you want to give a call up to the fire department, they can get you registered for that event.
We have about 4 minutes left in the program, and we're going to fill it with job information. So if you are looking for a job, or maybe someone you know, maybe a senior citizen, or maybe even a youth in town might be interested in a job, some full-time, some part-time. The city, believe it or not, is a great place to have a job.
Yep.
Tell us about this time of the year, why you're so busy looking to hire people.
Yeah, so we have a lot of hiring that we do this time of the year to do our summer maintenance out in our parks and public spaces, and then also to do our park and rec programs that we do at the city. So Public Works Parks are hiring for mowing, planting, weeding, blacktop type of work, trail maintenance, storm sewer repair maintenance, custodial services, those kinds of things. These can be full-time opportunities during the summer months. So if you're home from college, or you have an older high school student, you might want to consider, thinking about this opportunity with the city. It's great, kind of Monday through Friday work. Kind of hard to find if you're a younger person sometimes. So I think it can be really a great opportunity for those summer months. And then we have many part-time summer positions available at the community center, Central Park, Town Green, and these include lifeguard, t-ball, and kicking kids instructors, field attendants, Central Park concessions, outdoor maintenance, and then all the positions with regard to the music events that happen at Town Green. So all these positions are posted on our city website. And then we are hosting a job fair at the community center Thursday, March 28th from 4 to 7 p.m. And if you have an interest, we encourage people to come out, and we'll have staff there to talk about all these different employment opportunities.
One point that I think is important, I've seen this in other cities as well, is if someone comes and gets a part-time job with the city during the summer, likelihood of them continuing on many summers is a great possibility. Have you seen that happen in the city where someone comes and works at the pool one summer, and lo and behold, 3 summers later, they're still working there? Yeah,
we do. We see a lot of that coming back year after year. And a lot of times, some of our existing full-time staff started as part-time staff, either in the Park and Rec program and particularly in Public Works. It's a great opportunity for them to kind of try us on as an employer, and for us to, get to know them a little bit as an employee as well. So we do see a lot of folks start in this part-time role and get to know the city a little bit, and then move on to full-time employment. So it's not only a great opportunity while you might be going to school or in the early stages of your employment life, but then it can become a career as well. So we really encourage people to check it out.
A little bit of a taste of a career path in a part-time way that you might say, boy, this is something I should go to college for, or maybe a job. So Thursday, March 28th, 4 to 7, the Park and Rec Job Fair. And again, that is at the community center, so great opportunities there. Heidi, thank you very much again for all the information, all this going on in the city. Let's leave you with some information. We mentioned the website many times, so you're going to need that address, maplegrovemn.gov, to find out more about what's going on in the city. Valuation information, again, many of those events that are coming up, you want to take a look at that. The next meeting is on Monday, April 1st, 7:30 at the Government Center, 494-6000, the phone number, and our viewer response line, 533-1710. Questions or comments about the program, certainly do give us a call. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks once again for joining us.